Okay, what's going on everyone? Doc here, and today I want to talk about Autofight. So, Autofight, there's only 4 champions in the game who have a specific ability that makes them the best Autofight champions. Normally, you can never trust Autofight with anything. You ever throw in any champion to Autofight, even if they're like 2 times the PI, they get destroyed. That's just how it works. The game isn't supposed to make you win. But with this ability that I'm about to talk about in these 4 champions, they have by far the best chance, and Elsa Bloodstone is the number 1 auto fighter in the game. So the synergy that I'm going to be using is on Nick Fury. So I'm using a 4-star Nick Fury with Ant-Man as the activator here. If Nick is alive, the first 3 hits thrown by the opponent have a 100% chance to be evaded if they are not blocked or dashed back. So what this means is that Elsa, Wasp, Mordo, and Black Widow Deadly Origin are the best Autofight champions. All 4 of these champions are the only 4 champions that have a counterattack anytime they would evade the enemy's attack, whether it is through their own abilities or through this synergy. So I would have made this video over the weekend, but I realized Black Widow had this ability, so I really wanted to include it and had to wait till I could actually talk about her. So I want to go into detail specifically on Elsa and Wasp because they are number 1 and number 2 on my kind of list of auto fighters respectively, and then show and talk a little bit about Mordo and Black Widow Deadly Origin as well. So I'm in Uncollected here. What's great about this kind of strategy is I'm showing it off here. I get to auto fight through Uncollected now. This isn't something I'd really considered before, but it just makes my life a lot easier. I can now multitask. Most of this gameplay was actually recorded when I was in an online lecture. Yeah, while I was still taking notes, I was doing this. I have the notes that I actually took because I could actually pay attention. I just had to click through a couple screens every once in a while to get between the 2 fights. Normally, even if I have like one hand on the screen just to kind of mindlessly swipe, I could probably make it work. But I can multitask a lot better if I can trust Elsa to completely do her own auto fights, and I can. So I'm going to go through the entire path of this fight. I'm going to have Wasp do a different path on the same quest, and she's going to do the whole thing by herself. And this is quest number 2. So obviously quest number 1 is even easier, so they could definitely do quest number 1. Show a little bit of quest number 3 as well. They have a little bit of difficulties with that, but not too much. And quest 4, I can also say that they were able to complete it together. Elsa and Wasp, but without really worries. So I have both Elsa and Wasp as rank 5s. I've had them both that for a while, and I'm just kind of now using them for this. So why Elsa Bloodstone is the number 1 is because her counterattack works just slightly different than the other 3. So her counterattack knocks back the opponent with a revolver shot, places that busted debuff on the opponent, and the way it knocks back the opponent is just far enough that if the Elsa AI, and it does do this more often than not, if the Elsa AI uses her medium to attack into the opponent, like you're going to see right there, she can actually hit the opponent. Wasp, Mordo, and Black Widow Deadly Origin will never do that. They do deal some extra damaging debuffs on the opponent when they do this. They do get more opportunities to intercept the opponent, which you'll see Elsa intercept quite often. Wasp does the best intercepts. But Mordo and Black Widow Deadly Origin, they basically have 3 fail chances to intercept, whereas every other champion using these synergies besides the 4 that I've mentioned, they only have 1. Because the opponent will continue their combo and use up all of the charges on their first combo. You kind of have to learn the AI to kind of see these patterns. One thing you'll notice about the AI is that they will never parry, except for every time when I say never, then they want to parry. Right there, Elsa did parry, and it turned into another one of her parry evades. And then you saw it go on cooldown there. And I think Colossus, when I show him against an Uncollected fight, he also parries at one point. But that's it. For the most part, the AI never wants to parry. The AI really wants to intercept. Wasp is probably one of the smartest AIs that I've seen. You would think it would be Doom considering how much of a pain he is on defense, but the Wasp AI does its own thing with its medium attack. So she will always go straight from the first medium into a heavy attack. for whatever reason, her AI is just smart enough to do this, and it's great because against uncollected fights, that is a lot of damage. She needs to do it once or twice, and the fight is pretty much over. That's what you see her do in these. Missed a couple there. Gonna get hit here because she used up all 3 of her charges. Her shock isn't dealing that much damage, only 207. It's unlike Elsa, where the busted debuffs kind of add up and you're dealing extra damage off of that. But her Wasp's raw damage is definitely the best, especially because she's just using your heavy attack all the time. If I used Havoc, I could make her damage even higher, but I think I was just running the two synergy champions and Wasp for this, or the 2 synergy champions and Elsa. But as I kind of went along, I realized that they can clear paths, but they can't really clear mini bosses for the most part. Wasp does have a really good try against the mini boss, so that'll show. It might be right after this fight, I'm not sure. But for the most part, you do need to take over when it comes to the mini boss, because the AI likes to stand there more against more difficult fights, which is really why you want those 3 evade charges to kind of get the ball rolling, to deal some really good damage. So right here, absolutely just shredded. This is by far one of my favorite things that I've figured out in game in a long time. I am further along in 100% of the monthly Uncollected this month more than ever before. Normally I would leave it to like the last week or something, but not only because I was recording gameplay, but just because I can auto fight through it and do other stuff at the exact same time. I don't have to worry about needing to watch the screen to take it off auto fight if my champion is going to fail. So this is the Taskmaster mini boss at the end of the second quest. He's a pain. Elsa tried against him the first time on her path and she failed. I decided to show this one against Wasp because she actually does really well, and it's because of her raw damage. Even though Elsa's a little bit better than Wasp, she does have her kind of shiny moments, and that's why I'm so glad that I have both of them at R5, not only so I can kind of show them off together, but because together they can pretty much clear everything. Especially on Autofight, I just have the 2, I rotate them if I need to, and they're totally fine. And it works against almost every fight, even against more difficult things. So now I'm in quest 3, so it's getting slightly more difficult here. But there are some fights that they can't take, like Black Widow Classic. She can stop my evade, Iceman can stop my evade. Anyone that can stop the evade is going to be a little bit more difficult, obviously, but the Wasp AI is smart enough to do the passive stun, so she's going to deal some good damage there. And eventually Elsa will hopefully get her evades off, but she's a pretty good AI in general. She intercepts quite often as well, so medium to a heavy there for Wasp. Didn't do too good, but she did beat the next fight after, and then Elsa finished off the rest of the quest after she died in the third fight. So I've said Wasp and Elsa are the best, but now I want to show it. So Voodoo, Warlock, and Colossus, first thing you saw, they're all already out of their evade charges because Iron Man used it up on the first combo. So I chose all 3 of them for a different reason. Voodoo for his sustainability, and I usually use him in Uncollected anyways. Warlock is pretty tanky, he's got the good immunities, and Colossus is known as a good auto fighter specifically because he can do Winter Soldier. Winter Soldiers is going to be hitting me pretty often, and Colossus needs to be tanky for that. And that's pretty much why he's a good auto fighter. His sustainability between fights is not the best. Right there, he did sell at parry, and he didn't get the crit, though. But Voodoo's lost against the first fight in an Uncollected Path auto fight. Warlock won, but he will not go on to beat the Rhino. I did try him out. He didn't. Wasp did get that Rhino down, even though she ended on a way lower health than him. Colossus here. It's about to get smacked by an SB3 and get KO'd. So apparently this 9k Iron Man is a lot more difficult for him than the Winter Soldier. Now, so 2 KOs, 1 victory, and none of them would be able to complete the whole path. Wasp did 2 fights and she died on the Howard the Duck. I had Elsa continue on from the Howard the Duck and she finished off the path. But I decided to have her go back and fight this Iron Man on her own as well. Just to kind of do another comparison with Wasp, and well, this is why she's number 1. This is all like just first try stuff. I tried against more difficult stuff with multiple tries to kind of see how well they would do, but it's never really more consistent as you get into the more difficult stuff. But she dealt a ton of damage to Iron Man just in the very beginning, and he's dead. She only lost 15% health compared to what Wasp lost, and compared to the three non-good Autofighters, which 2 of them got KO'd and the third wouldn't make it past the second fight. Rhino was a pretty difficult one. I was honestly surprised Wasp made it, but still. So Iron Man they definitely could have been able to take down. So Elsa Wasp, and one thing I haven't mentioned about her that makes her so good is just her raw damage potential. Every time she does one of those things, she puts on the busted debuff, right? But the busted debuff also deals extra damage every next evade. Deals like an extra 600 for each busted debuff. So that's a minimum of 3 busted debuffs. So right there you saw I dealt an extra 1700, extra 1200, an extra 2200 damage. And that's only from my evade charges. And then every crit, she does the same thing. Deals some extra damage there. So her raw damage is just phenomenal, and that helps her kind of finish off these fights really fast before the AI kind of gets to deal a lot of damage with her. Especially because she puts a lot of busted debuffs on with her auto-evade mechanic. So I think she's just going to finish off the path here. This last Electra fight. So this Electra bleeds me at the very end, and you see the degen kind of go on to Electra. Elsa without suicides is totally fine. With suicides, if you were running double edge, she would place a bleed debuff on the opponent, which would deal some degen damage. It can help her. I wasn't running it for this. I did try it a little bit during the beta server because I was able to unlock suicides there, but it didn't make her that much better because she's losing health with special activations and that kind of stuff. So finish off here with Black Widow, Deadly Origin, and Mordo. So both of them in Act 4. They're only R3s. They can't quite take as much difficult stuff as the other ones. But I kind of wanted to see how well they would do. And if their auto fight AIs was smart. Black Widow's proves to be pretty good. So this is a Arc Overload Ronin. So pretty difficult in terms of much bigger health, but she doesn't really have anything that makes her incredibly smart. Big SP2 damage, but for her, it's mostly the fact that she gets the auto evade. And she's worth a mention in this video because of that. As one of the 4 champions that does have it. And number 4, Mordo. Oh man, Mordo. He's the worst of the Autofighters, but again, he's worth a mention because he has the ability. His AI just doesn't seem smart at all. Elsa will take her evades and turn them into combos. Wasp will use her heavy attack following a medium. Mordo will just get hit and lose his power gain over and over again. I don't think he keeps his power gain past like 2 seconds here. He's got it right now. He gets it. Yeah, his AI just doesn't know what to do. It should be playing passive like the defensive, but I guess not. Oh well. Mordo down. Didn't even beat 1 Cap Marvel. So that's why Black Widow Deadly Origin gets higher rating than him. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this one. Those are kind of my 4 favorite Autofighters. As far as I know, I'm not missing anyone who has the counterattack. That'll also work with the Nick Fury synergy. So if you want to autofight through Uncollected, I highly recommend a rank 5 Elsa Bloodstone. She's great for a ton of stuff past this, but it just frees me up to do a lot of multitasking and that kind of stuff, which is really, really nice. So that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you found it helpful. Break out those Elsas and Wasps and get them doing some work for you. Especially if you have Nick Fury. I recently got his 4-star. He's completely unleveled. It's got a 110 Ant-Man that I'm using as the thing, so I don't have to bring in Quake. It's great. It's just really nice to kind of have this ability to do these fights without having to actually do them. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video or when I stream. Probably going to stream 7.1. The beta of that is out. And I will have Black Widow Deadly Origin in that beta as well. And hopefully I might have a video out on her, a full video out on her at some point. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.